Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on our channel or any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Today we're discussing a model family that came out in 2007, back when bigger was better and biggest was best. It's anything but big, but the 40mm white gold Lange Sohne Grand Saxonia updated the favorite from the 1990s with a larger case. It's still broad, flat, and handsome. 40mm is reasonable even by 2020 standards. This watch is still very much in fashion. 8.6mm thick by 48.7mm lug to lug. 20mm between the lugs. And substantial in white gold. You can feel it on the wrist. It's larger than the original Saxonia, but it's not large, objectively speaking. 40mm is a good versatile size for a modern men's dress watch, and you can really see to good effect how low it sits on the wrist, and how I have plenty of clearance on each side. You can see that best with this down the barrel shot. I'd recommend it for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. Now the timepiece is well equipped. We'll take a look at the hardware and the software, and you can see that there's calf skin on the bottom. There is large rectangular scale, semi-gloss, black alligator leather on the top. It's a little bit bolstered to give some volume, and you can see that the side is of a folded design, and there is a black binding stitch. There is a simple no-nonsense Lange pin buckle, and some of the features of this pin buckle actually stand out. First, it's handsome and shapely, faceted and polished externally. There's a little bar inside it, and you can see that retaining bar that runs transversely. That's there in case you're like me and you're going to make a small hole or use the smallest hole, and you're going to strap it down tight on a small wrist. That little retaining bar prevents the strap from getting pinned on the pin. There's also a little elevated bridge. You can see how the bridge is elevated rather than in the same plane as the edges of the buckle. That allows the strap to sit inside the buckle rather than stacking up thick on the wrist. So attention to detail pervasive here. The case is handsome and simple. Lange, in good taste, decided to satinate the mid-case to contrast with the polish of the case back in the bezel. The lugs are stepped out from the case, as they typically are on Lange watches. And then we have a bezel with a vertical portion that's polished and a domed portion, a shallow domed portion that's also polished. Simple, a Lange Sohne branded white gold crown to match, and then we have a dial that features the stick indices that signify the Saxonia family. Remember, Roman numerals are the Richard Lange, the Zeitwerk is a digital display, and then Arabic numerals, those are the 1815, so this is the Saxonia. Doubled up indices at the four corners, and then we have white gold for the indices as well as the hands. They're lovely polished alpha style hands at center, and then there's a counterweighted needle style seconds in a sunken subregister. This being the Saxomat caliber, you do have a hacking seconds with zero reset action, and if you look closely you can see there are little white gold cabochon outboard of each of the indices. The dial is black galvanized, but it's made of 925 sterling silver, so the case is precious metal, and so is the dial base itself. There's a handsome Lange logo up at 12 o'clock. I particularly like the font used for their ampersand, and then you can see it's in good taste vaulted to trace the arc of the top of the dial. Turning over, you can see the Saxomat caliber. Now this is the L921-2. The timepiece, of course, automatic winding. One of the first Lange automatic calibers was the L92. Work on it started in 1992. As the name implies, it was the first new movement started in 1992 by Lange, which at that point had yet to bring a single watch to market in its modern iteration. You can see that it features a rotor that's best described as a 3/4 rather than micro rotor, but it's in the same plane as the other bridges, so it has the same thin profile and unobstructive view back aspect as a true micro rotor. It does not obscure the movement. What I really like here, if you look closely, the rotor itself is double finished and 21 karat gold. So it's a hallmarked 21 karat gold rotor with a platinum winding mass attached by fired blued screws. At center, you also have a black polished cap over the bearing and black polished screws. So you get two types of screws, two types of precious metal, and that's just the rotor. The bridges are nickel copper zinc, known as German silver. The copper aspect gives them that golden hue, and there are glorious glasuta stripes over the bridges with mirrored beveling on the edge of every bridge, black polish on some of the screws, as well as the swan's neck index and the cap to the escape wheel cock. You'll see engine turning or perlage on the base plate. And of course, the technical specifications are impressive. Automatic winding, 21/6 beat rate. It has a 46-hour power reserve. It has the stop seconds with zero reset action. And as you can see, it features 5-position adjustment, which is the same as the high horology and chronometer standard. 5 positions really is the golden standard. And the timepiece pivots on 36 jewels, and you can see that it's a lovely medley, I want to emphasize, of the violet of the jewels, the blue of the screws, the golden hue of the bridges, the hard golden hue of the rotor, and then the silver aspects of the platinum and the steel. Truly gorgeous. 30 meters water resistant. You can see that there is a freehand engraved half bridge underneath the swan's neck index. Each one of these components is freehand engraved with a burn by a Lange artist. This is an extraordinary watch. A Grand Saxonia, not oversized, right-sized. Reach out to Tim Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.